right, day number 37 of the bulk. Today's gonna be back day, but more importantly than that, holy shit, first big fucking milestone, 250 flat this morning. Fucking 250 flat on the scale. So, it still might bounce around a little bit. I might go back to a little lighter, but good fucking sign. I was fucking excited. I get up, fucking get up early for class. Boom, 250 out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. It makes sense. So, in terms of the calories, started off around like 4,500. Did for a few weeks because it takes a little bit of time for you to get used to, eating a lot of food. You're almost like ramping up your metabolism in a sense. Like if you just go from dieting straight up, like counting your calories hard, 100 grams of carbs per day, and you're lean, and you jump to trying to eat like 6,000 calories a day, a ton of it's just going to get converted to fat. I mean, you're just not going to be able to make use of that much food, right? At any given point, your maintenance calories, right, your total energy expenditure for the day is, about, right here. So if you cut, you go below it, and if you bulk, you want to go above it. But if you go too far above it, then you're not getting any, or you're getting a negligible amount of benefits, and then you're going to get extra fucking fat, presuming that you're not doing your cardio, and it's going to be even harder to cut down, right? Like if I were to kind of crazy, if I were to try and eat 8,000 calories per day, I'm sure I would gain weight faster, but much more of it would just be, excess body fat. I'd probably build the same amount of muscle, but all those extra calories that my body just couldn't process are just going to get stored. So last few days been doing 6,000. Feels pretty good. I'll try and do a full day of eating. I don't have class tomorrow, so that'd be a perfect day. So you can get a little bit of an idea of just where all these calories are coming from. Holy fuck. Oh my god, there were like 3 deer right on the edge of the road getting ready to cross. Oh, that could have been bad. Never hit a deer yet. Would not want to. Shit. What else? 250. That's about it there. So today's going to be back. For a second I kind of thought that I didn't really care for the bent over rows with the barbell, but throwing them in last back day, that felt pretty good. Like when you go really heavy on them, it's not necessarily pinpointing any specific part of your back, right? Because if you're really going heavy, like 10 reps is your max for whatever weight you're doing. I mean, you're just going to be utilizing every different muscle in your back, right? You're not going to get a perfect lat pump because your traps are going to be activated, your rhomboids, your rear delts a little bit, but definitely a pretty damn decent starter lift. Because, that pretty much fits in with my mentality of start your lift with some heavy sets, and then once you got a pump, you're pretty much good. As long as you lift heavy, like as long as you throw in some sets where you're really pushing yourself, 10 reps is as much as you can get with that specific weight for any body part, for the most part. And then you do a couple of more sets, you kind of back off the weight a little bit, you're doing more isolation movements or whatever else, like a real bodybuilder, and you got a crazy pump at the end. That's pretty much the perfect signs that you've given yourself the right stimulus that you want to grow. And you finish your lift, you get home and start to fucking recover with your post-workout meal. So I drink this pre, and then we can fucking get in there and kill back. All right. I thought it might actually be a little bit more packed than it is right now. The last couple of days I've been coming in here late. It's always like a big ass group of youths, you know, running about. Good on them. So the same thing that I do with pretty much any muscle group right in the beginning. Just do a little bit of light activation work. Because for one thing, I definitely think that after you've sort of done a little bit of warm-up sets, you're gonna be stronger. Like just the act of actually flexing your muscle before, you know, doing it with like a really heavy load. You know, it's just gonna help you out once you actually start loading up weight. And then it's just gonna loosen you up. You know, in terms of the intellectual level of my advice, warming up is probably the most basic, probably the most basic thing that I have to say. But I think it still warrants mentioning. So I'll probably fuck around here for a minute or two, and then go start getting barbell rows set up. So back day. Nothing too complicated. I'm thinking. So one thing, I'll get a lot of questions about whether or not I do like lat specific back day or like an upper back specific back day. Not really. Pretty much I'll just do an even mix of like, you know, pull down dedicated work, like, you know, lat pull downs or cable pullovers, along with, you know, rowing movements of whatever kind of variety. One plate should be butter. Absolute butter. You know, for the sake of progressive overload, you know, I did 3 plates last back day. Let's do 3 plates and a 5. All right, let's go a little lighter. All right. One set of pull downs done. I think I'll do just another straight set. Not as heavy as the first one,
Because sure, you can load up a bunch of weight and throw the lat pull down around, which it's going to be beneficial. It's going to be good for you. Get some exposure to some high tension. But, you know, the other side of the program, as it were, is to go a little lighter to what you can really control and make those reps extra hard by really squeezing the fuck out of it at the bottom. Because that action of squeezing at the bottom of the rep, that's what's really going to get you pumped up, right? If you just do a whole workout throwing weight around as heavy as you can, rather than, you know, throwing in a couple of lighter sets where you're focusing on the contraction, your pump is definitely not going to be as ideal, and thus the workout wouldn't have been as effective. So the realest of you viewers is gonna notice, where the fuck is the jug? I ran out of my Tang powder, and I ran out of my Kool-Aid powder. So gotta add that to the grocery list tomorrow. Pumped is all hell from the pull downs. Let's move on to just some standard straight bar cable rows. I said this in the last back day, but if you didn't see it, I have definitely been enlightened in the fact that I'm beginning to prefer the straight bar row in comparison to like the V bar where your hands are right in here, right? Like, even though you can go pretty heavy with that, you're only gonna be able to pull your back so far together and really contract. Whereas when you do the fucking straight bar, you know, you can pretty much pull it, like you can pull your arms back so far to the point that they won't even let you touch the bar to your chest. Like, you're just reaching your maximum fucking ROM in that sense. Not that I'm like, you know, the ROM guy. But either way, you throw a few sets of these in heavy, should get a pretty damn thick upper back. In my mind, I was getting ready to stop at 15. Like, a little voice in my head was like, all right, 15 will be good. 15 will be a good set. No, fuck that. Threw in an extra 5 swinging. So I'm not going to tell you that swinging reps are going to be more or less effective than a good controlled rep. But I will say that the more intense your sets, that will probably correlate with their effectiveness. So if towards the end you get a little crazy with it, who fucking cares, man? So young guys especially, not to say I'm not young, but I mean early lifters, if you're taking my advice, and let's say you emulated a set just like that, and some old head told you that's not how you do it, don't be mean, just say, all right, thanks, man, but do not listen to him, right? Unless he's bigger than you, then maybe he's got a little bit of insider info. But for the most part, if you're going in and you think you know what you're doing, or you've heard from a pretty reputable source that what you're doing is good, don't let some schmuck try to talk you out of it. What the hell do they know? I never do a ton of dedicated trap work. Like, it's probably going to be a rare sight if you see me standing in front of the dumbbell racks doing like a bunch of shrugs, but still a big ass muscle in your back. And although you're probably going to work it when you're doing any other sort of rowing movement, sometimes I'll throw in a little bit of a superset doing the rows, where I'll do a full set of just standard bar rows with the cable, and then lean back, do some shrugs. Probably just one set, honestly. If your traps get so big that they're just like overpowering your shoulders, that'll kind of give you a little bit of a bad look, right? Big traps are a muscle for their own sake. They don't, once they're developed to a point, you can overdo it. But it's good to throw a little bit in. Oh. It's a cute little superset. Yeah, so 3 sets of the barbell rows, 3 sets of pull downs, and then 2 sets of cable rows. So since I do about 11 sets, or I do exactly 11 sets per body part, that means I got 3 more. So not sure about the other 2, but the first one I'm just going to do a set of pull downs supersetted with cable pullovers. Set number 10, another one of my sort of go-to drop set slash supersets. Oh, is going to be single arm pullovers supersetted with pull downs. So the single arm pullover, I think it's superior to the double arm, except for the fact that it takes a little bit longer, because obviously you're doing one arm at a time. But the squeeze, it's hard to even compare it. So if you want to do a superset of a single arm movement, or a single, if you wanted to do, how do I fucking phrase this? Whatever. Single arm pullovers, you're doing one arm at a time. How are you supposed to superset that with pull downs? Because if you do a full set on the right arm and then a full set on the left arm, by the time you start your pull downs, you're going to be weaker on the left arm. So my sort of go-to method is do about 5 or 6 reps with one arm, and switch 5 or 6, switch back and forth until I feel like I've done a good amount of work, and then jump onto the double arm movement. Thinking lat pull downs, actually no, double drop set, just normal superset, normal set of pull downs, maybe 15-20 reps, whatever I hit, and then jump straight to the straight bar cable row. But this time, instead of pulling the bar with my arms almost tucked in close to my back, right? Like this, if you can imagine. I'll go a little bit lighter and flare my elbows upward a little bit. So it's more like this. And when you have your elbows higher up like that, it'll help you sort of target your rhomboids, a little bit more traps. So this being the last set, finish off the lat pump, and then with the lighter rows, really just pump the fuck out of the traps and rhomboids. Whoa, fuck. And then when you do these, you can go a little bit wider than normal as well. That'll probably help you with your mind-muscle connection. Holy shit. What do you think? Is that pumped up? I already know it is. All right. Oh. Oh. All right, let's just see the fucking shirt outline again. Oh yeah. That's definitely something cooking. So, I say this to describe pretty much every fucking lift. But, pretty much just sticking to the basic shit. Barbell rows, lat pull downs, barbell rows, lat pull downs, cable rows, cable pullovers. There's nothing else that you really need. Like, if you do any sort of funky movements, I can't even think of an example, because those kind of fucking exercises just don't even cross my mind. But if you see somebody doing something weird like an Instagram lift, where it's supposed to look showy and fun and cool, odds are you're definitely not going to get fucking big doing it, right? Now, I don't necessarily believe that. I think you could get big doing anything, but you're going to have a much better chance if you just really overload the basics. Try not to overcomplicate things too much. All right. Oh, fuck. Whew. Oh yeah. So back was fucking sick. I already knew it was gonna be a gnarly pump after the first fucking two sets of barbell rows. So I'm gonna finish calves, and then we can do a little car speech. Oh, back got fucking obliterated. Honestly, I probably owe it, or at least owe a good amount of it. Let's change the angle a little. There we go. Probably owe at least a good amount of that pump to that first set of barbell rows. Even though I was swinging it pretty hard, just the fatigue it gave my lower lats. And I'm not a huge, lower back builder
per se. Like I don't deadlift. I'm not going for like huge erectors, but I could definitely tell that my lower back just got smashed. So, and then at the end, gnarly pump. So post-workout, what does that mean? It's time to take in your fucking post-workout shake. The best case scenario is going to be 50 grams worth of dextrose, as well as some protein powder. So here I've got 50 grams of dextrose and 1 scoop of chocolate whey. Now, I say this at least not every time, but I say it a lot. What is dextrose? What the fuck kind of weird shit is that? So dextrose is the simplest carbohydrate that you can get your freaking hands on. So it's just the one, as it turns out, monosaccharide, right? Just one glucose molecule on its own. So what makes that better than, you know, chowing down on some rice post-workout, or, you know, even like just some candy, just some Skittles or something, some gummy bears. So, you know, obviously rice onward, wheats, grains, all those are going to be reasonably complex carbs, right? They're not going to shoot your blood sugar through the roof right when you eat them. And then, you know, a lot of candies and stuff like that, those are not dextrose. Those are made of like fructose or sucrose, right? So the significance of that is those more complex forms of sugars, right? Like fructose and sucrose, those are multiple sugar molecules combined. So when you take in some sucrose or fructose, what's going to happen is it's going to have to get broken down in your liver or somewhere else. I don't know the exact biomechanics, but it takes a little bit before it hits your bloodstream. Whereas dextrose, considering that it is, you know, the final product of any carbohydrate that you were to eat, once you know, take some into your system, it's instantly going to spike your insulin, right? It's going to cause your whatever gland to release some insulin. And then having some extra blood sugar floating around from the dextrose itself is just gonna, when those two when those two factors are combined, what's gonna happen is all of that dextrose, sugars, and nutrients are just gonna get sent right into your muscles. So, you know, that's exactly the kind of situation that you want after you finish training. You know, you just beat the shit out of yourself. Now you got to repair. So how are you going to do that? Some high octane gains, aka the carb shake. Oh. A little unsettling because it's very sweet, but it's fucking good for you. I'm gonna finish this fucking shake, either get some food or not get some food, and just make some at home. Take my vitamins, and then go to fucking bed. I am exhausted. So if you guys are eating a meal right now, fucking finish that shit quick. If you're doing your cardio right now, good for you. You're following the fucking rules. And again, if you're staying up late when you should be sleeping watching this right now, turn this fucking phone off and go to bed. That's where you're gonna make your gains. See you next time, goddammit.